Ah, Suki. We back in the house again. Welcome to another edition of Showtime with Coop, insightful BS with my Laker teammates, NBA legends, and always my co-host, the wonderful, the effervescent, the most hated man that I can think of, Nick, because he is a Boston Celtic lover. But I
Oh, you
still
know
love
it.
his company. Morning, Nick.
Morning, Coop. I'm the most hated man in LA, and I'm not even in LA. All your friends must be going, who is that dude that you co-host with? Like, who is that guy? Why does he hate LeBron so much?
Oh, they go, who's that dumpy guy that hates the Lakers so much?
Yeah. Coop, what's going on, man? Another big week for the big three.
Big three in the house. You know what? We won a big game against the Ball Hogs, coached by Gary Payton, and they're called the Boston Ball Hogs. So it was
I
a
know it.
double pleasure for us to beat them. But no, we're in our third week. We're 2-1. Actually, we're in first place, tied for first place. And the big three, man, is blowing up big time. Michael Beasley, Lance Stephenson, Mario Chalmers, Reggie Evans, Sean Williams are my players, and man, we getting it done for Miami 305.
305, baby. And Beasley again. I think he hit the game winner 2 weeks ago and scored big again this week. He's still kind of the league's guy, right? Or
He's
is
a
deep
premier player. Him and Joe Johnson are
Joe
and
Johnson.
there's other players. I'm not going. The other players are very, very good, but those two kind of stand out alone. Mike hit the game winner for us, a 4-pointer. We had 46 points, and we needed 50. It's the first team to 50, win by 2. And Mike got to look at a 4-pointer and pulled it, man, and knocked it down to win the game. And you know what? It's the big three. If you haven't been, any of our listeners out there, you got to get to one in your closest city to you. I think we're coming into LA. Go to the Big Three website and you'll find out exactly when we're coming to LA, because I am a man who thinks the next week ahead, and we're in Boston. Not this weekend, next weekend. So that's the kind of person I am. So I don't delve too far ahead, but go to the Big Three website, find out when we'll be in Los Angeles. We're coming to Los Angeles. I think it's toward the end of July. To be there.
Coop, I heard you have a new member of your coaching staff that may end up, bringing in some rounds of applauses here in Boston. Did I hear right that Robert Parish is joining your coaching team?
You heard absolutely wrong. Robert Parish is not joining my coaching staff, contrary to our beef that we've had going. And you know what? I have mixed emotions about him. Robert made a statement last week about 3 Lakers that he don't mind or he likes, which is Kareem, Worthy, and myself. And I'm of the mindset, if you don't like one of us, you don't like all of us. So you know what, Robert? And I had my little beef with him, but deep down, I have a liking for Rob. But let's go on. Yeah, Rob. You know what? Just like the Celtics, you know what? When you go to Boston, they make you feel warm and comfy in the summertime when you're not supposed to. You're supposed to be cool. They cut the heater on. Then you go there in the wintertime and you're supposed to be cozy because it's cold outside. They got the air conditioner on and the windows open in our locker room. So Robert is pulling that old things the old gimmicks that the Boston. Hey, yeah, I like Coop. I like Kareem. I like Worthy, but I can't stand Magic. Fuck him. He says, okay, well, you know what? F you too, Robert Parish, in a big way.
Dude, you know who he really dislikes? He didn't say it in that video, but he said it. I think he said it on your show. He's definitely said it online, though, before. He does not like Byron Scott at all. Like, if you were like, Chief, what do you think of Byron Scott? He would rip. Why does he like you so much, Coop? I don't get it. Maybe because you didn't have to guard him?
I don't know. Maybe because I didn't punch his ass enough. That's why Robert set a screen on Byron, and Byron used to elbow him. Maybe, I don't know what. I don't know.
Dude,
but I really don't care. And how did we get on the Celtics so soon? I'm ready to get off.
I had to, because that video went viral, Coop, and all of a sudden you're on the sidelines at the Big Three coaching, and you got influencers getting you on camera asking your opinion on this video. That video went viral. It went all over Boston. It was LA and Miami. So we had to bring it up, man. We had to bring it up. But it's crazy times in the NBA right now, Coop, right? Especially for
it's
two
amazing.
premier teams.
But you know what? It's the fun time too, because people are making moves to become champions. Some teams are breaking teams apart that they thought they were champions, and they're breaking them down now. I mean, it's I think Boston is along that line. You win a championship, your marquee player gets injured, and now you're looking around and you start losing players and free agency. And I mean, look at Indiana. You figure they'd come back, after the performance this year. If Tyree Halliburton doesn't go down, it's a good chance they win that championship. I'm sad about that because I really thought that they were going to win. But again, congratulations to OKC. But now they lose Mike Turner, and he's gone. So now they got to revamp their whole team and kind of restructure. And Coach Carlisle got some work to do, but it's happening all around the league. So this is a fun time, sad times in some cases, but it's a fun time because you're wanting to see where players are going to land, what teams are going to get who. And the biggest free agent out there is Damian Lillard. I mean, again, he's injured, older player, but you know what? By the time he comes back after the first of the year, February, March, where teams are trying to decide on making a championship run, be careful because that young man will find himself on a championship, on a playoff team with a promise of hopefully winning a championship.
Well, there are a lot of mutual names being brought up between the Celtics and the Lakers right now. Dame is one of them. We'll talk about Dame. But first, I haven't gotten your reactions or even your opinion or feelings on the Buss family selling the Lakers. So I think we should start there because coincidentally, again, both our franchises sold in the same year. So, for you, this is the first time you're experiencing, or will be experiencing new ownership in LA. What does this mean for the team, the building for a championship, but also the alumni, you legends who are overly all around, not overly, it's a good thing. You guys are all around the arena during games and Lakers events, which I know as a Celtics fan, that always propelled the fan base when our legends were still alive and wanting to come around. How does it affect you guys? I mean, what have you been hearing, Coop?
I don't think it affects us at all. I think Mr. Walters is a great owner. What a great transition. Obviously, we look at the Buss family as being the sole owner, and with that being sold. But you look at it like this. Dr. Buss invested $67 million to get this organization. And he's passed it on to his daughter, Jeannie, who runs it. And look at what it's become. 67 million has turned into 10 billion. What an investment. What an investment. So, you know what? Again, Mr. Walter, Dodgers owner, he's going to, we're being passed on granted, but this is great for the city of Los Angeles. It's almost keeps it in the family in a sense because the way the Dodgers operate is like a family atmosphere. And Magic's over there. So now with this back, but Jeannie will still be governor of the, they still hold a small percentage of the Los Angeles Lakers to keep it in the family because that's something that I think would want to be passed down. But again, the investment and the return is huge. I don't look at the money. I don't think anything's going to change. We'll still have significant input as far as players be welcome there. I don't think that's going to change because the Lakers are the Lakers. They're a separate entity of the Dodgers. It's basketball and baseball, but just one owner got it and he's putting it together. And now you can, I've always felt tied to the Dodgers, even going back in the 80s with Steve Garvey, Dusty Baker, Ron Say. I knew those guys very well. Tommy Lasorda would come to our games and stuff like that. So
I remember that.
Match made in heaven. And I don't think anything's going to miss a beat here. I think we're going to continue to move forward and win championships. And I think former players all through the line will always be welcome around the Laker franchise. I don't see anything changing, and it's good for, like I said, good for the city of Los Angeles.
It was almost as big of a secret, or maybe it was, as the Luka trade. Like no one saw it coming. Yeah, I could hear you. You're cut out.
You froze up for a minute. I didn't hear you.
No problem. I said,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I said they kept this a secret almost as well as they did the Luka trade. Like no one saw it coming. Did you have any inclination that there was a sale on the horizon? I
None
think
at
I
all.
broke that news to you, Coop. I think I texted you it when it happened, and that was when you found out, right?
Yep, but you know what? It doesn't bother me in any sense, and I don't think it would bother any Lakers. I talked to Byron and Worthy and Michael Thompson, and that's not going to bother us. You know, we are Laker lifers forever, and what they do with the organization is totally up to them. But they still want us around. They keep us around, and that's a good thing to me. So I'm not. It doesn't matter who owns the Lakers. It's just about being a Laker, and I'm always a Laker for life.
All right. Well, it's silly season. Let's get into the silly talk here, Coop. So a lot of free agency starting. You're seeing the Celtics completely disassemble their, I would say, their role players, their bench players. A lot of interest for the Lakers and guys like Al Horford, I've heard. And what do you think as far as the Lakers are concerned? Obviously, we'll talk about LeBron's contract in a minute, but is Horford a fit for LA?
Well, what we talk about now, because I've been wrapped up with the big three and all my focus has been over there, and I'm just hearing about things now. So what we talk about is what Michael Cooper thinks on the outside. Would Horford be a good fit? I think that would be a great fit. They're even considering that, but we're just talking two basketball guys here. And if the Lakers were, I think that would be a great move. If that was something that was in the process of being thought about. Horford is a kind of player. He's a professional. He's understands the game inside and out, and he's a champion. And I think if the Lakers are considering him, what a great consideration, because he would fit well with that. I think a lot of people would have a hard time fitting with LeBron. Most veterans come in there, but Al Horford wouldn't be one of them. And I will do some more investigating on that behind the scenes a little bit more for our next show. But from right now, sitting here, I have not talked to anybody in the Laker hierarchy or anything like that. But I'm just saying, as a former Laker, on how to build championships, and the Lakers are all about winning championships, Al Horford would be a great addition, and I think he would be very, very welcome. Again, it's going to take some things, the salary cap and all of that. It's going to a lot of money, stuff like that. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if they're considering him, what a great consideration. If they can make that fit to bring Al Horford in, I think LeBron would be happy with that.
The Celtics are facing cap issues left and right. The Lakers are facing uncertainty with LeBron opting in. What is, as far as Lakers fans go, Lakers Nation goes, does LeBron opting in tell you that he's looking to make another move? Or, I mean, certainly it didn't help with freeing up cap space for you guys to sign, supporting players. So what's your take on LeBron opting in for that 50 plus million?
LeBron opting in, and the man keeps him saying, this has been said over and over millions of billions of times about his great conditioning and he's ready to go. Only people look at his age as being 40 plus if he goes into this season here 41. But you don't look at that. You look at the guy's physical capabilities. He keeps himself in great shape. So him opting in is only solidifying the Lakers' chances of winning another championship. Yes, they're going to need some pieces around them. Yes, Luka is getting in better shape from the pictures I have seen that him making that committed effort. Those are the things that it takes to win championships. Now you need other pieces. You have Dorian Finney-Smith opting out of his and going to Houston. That's a place that's going to have to be filled. Houston. But LeBron is LeBron. And as long as we have LeBron James on Los Angeles Lakers, along with Luka, and he got a decent supporting cast, and we're hoping that it can be a great supporting cast. Lakers are always about winning a championship. And with LeBron opting in, he's better than some other player coming in that's going to have to figure out the system, and it'll take them half the season to do it, and not as great as LeBron. So, you keep your two foundational pieces together, Luka and LeBron. LeBron has won championships. Luka is understanding how to win a championship, got Dallas Mavericks to the finals, 2 years ago or last year. And so you got the pieces. Now you got to get some surrounding pieces. Yeah, you need some unique pieces. Everybody in today's game are talking about the rim blocker, or that block shot, that person. You don't necessarily really need that. You don't have. That's not what today's game is about. You need that stretch center that can step out, shoot a three. But again, his job is going to be mainly setting picks, get a shot when it's there, but most importantly, run the floor, play solid defense, and rebound the basketball. And anybody 6'9", 6'10" can do that. And Dallas showed you that when they had Lively, Gafford, the young kids down there. Them guys weren't great shot blockers. I mean, they would contest some shots, but them guys were about doing the intangibles, the little things that's going to help you win a championship to get your marquee players shots and opportunities to score.
So you don't see a world where he forces a trade out of LA?
No, I don't see that. Los Angeles has been very, very wonderful to LeBron and his family. His kids have grown up here. I think what LeBron is doing is LeBron's about first. And, he's a first in scoring all time that. He's the first in longest player played. He's the first player to play with his son. Why not be the first player to play with both your kids? Wouldn't that be something special? Yeah, Nick, you can roll your eyes and shake your head as much as you want. If all that happens and the Lakers win a championship, I'm happy, baby. And I can always gloat in your face because eventually, the Lakers will be tied with that number 8. And we will get our championship
eventually.
Guys even sniff a wet Eastern Conference Finals in the next 3 or 4 years.
That's crazy. That's crazy talk. And I can't wait for the day that either LeBron retires or forces a trade or whatever. So that way you can actually say how you feel on this topic. Everything that you say about this makes me feel like you're mincing words with him. I don't know. I mean, for me, I can't see why can't a guy who's played 23 seasons and made billions of dollars take a pay cut? Why? Why can't he do that to help his franchise? Why can't he do that?
Because
you guys are strapped too. Huh?
His talent is exceptional. And I think, why should he take a pay cut first?
So that way your team can get better. Your team can improve.
They're going to get better. LeBron is better than anybody they could bring in. Anybody that they could bring in other than Giannis, I think LeBron's better than KD still. He does a little bit more than KD. KD is just a scorer. LeBron scores, rebounds.
LeBron does not play defense. I don't care where he lands on the all NBA teams. I watched it all season long. He doesn't get back on defense. He gives up on plays. He moves out of the way in the lane as to not get knocked. But he spends more time on the ground than any player.
No, Nick, you're wrong. LeBron is one of the players that I admire the most for taking charges. LeBron will step in and take a charge. So, no, he's not moving out of the way. Yeah, he may not be there all the time on the weak side defense, but he plays hard, Nick. And again, at his age now, we all know this, the great ones very rarely. Magic Bird wasn't a great defender. That's why they always put him on me, so he could have some time off.
But Bird always gave effort, man.
His ass. So
but
LeBron,
Magic and Bird gave effort and made an impact on defense. They got back. They were good examples for their teammates.
I really do.
I can't wait. Coop. I can't wait for him to be gone so we could have a serious conversation.
When LeBron, when LeBron does not give effort is when he sees the other players aren't giving effort. And sometimes he's the one that's the missing piece to be there, but it's very rare that happens for him. LeBron is always there. He's playing hard. He's talking. He's pointing. He's telling players what to do. And Nick, you know what? When he eventually retires, we can have this conversation. And I'm going to say the same thing about LeBron. LeBron is a very good player. He understands how to win a championship. And if the other players aren't there, he's not going to be out there expending effort, because if he's guarding the ball real well and then the ball goes over his head, somebody misses a layup because they missed their assignment of the other side, that's not his fault. But like I said, he is sometimes a violator of not being where he's supposed to be. But that's very rare. 80% of the time, LeBron is always where he's supposed to be on defense. So, no, I'm not taking a pay cut. I wouldn't take a pay cut. No. Get my money, because I'm on the last leg of this tour. Get my money, and then you know what? I got to make sure that these other guys are doing their job.
What if he gets his money and then
not so much concentrate on LeBron's inability to play defense. You got to concentrate on Jaylen Brown not playing defense. That guy was a horrible defender too.
Jaylen Brown, he's
one thing I enjoy.
Whoa. How could you say that? Your man Luka was stopped by Jaylen for 5 games in the NBA Finals 2 years ago. I mean, Jaylen made Luka look, pretty human, actually pretty tired. He made him look like an exhausted human.
Listen, it was an out of shape Luka, a guy that just counted on shooting jump shots. Let him guard Luka now. The player that I'm seeing, that I get to see on social media, who's showing us how he looks now, a slimmed down version, he's going to be better too. He's going to be better. I bet he'll cook Jaylen Brown too.
Listen, I like Luka, and I also, believe it or not, I may be in my villain hat here on a Lakers show, but I like the Lakers. Like, I want to see the Lakers compete. I want to see a Celtics-Lakers finals. So I want LeBron to go because he's sincerely holding you guys back. Let him chase his ring culture. Didn't you? I'm sure you heard that quote recently.
No.
Ring culture doesn't matter to him, and it shouldn't matter. Rings shouldn't matter. The guy who literally ruined the NBA by ring chasing for 20 years.
Who, LeBron?
Yeah.
And he's ran down, 4 of them?
4 out of 23, 22 seasons.
Went back to Cleveland and got them one, and then we won one in the bubble where people didn't think he had it in there.
Well, let's talk about the bubble because Caruso, your boy Caruso, called it the clown championship.
Well, you know what? Caruso wasn't saying that until he won a championship. He enjoyed that championship ring. Now that he got one that he considered that's legit, Caruso ought to shut up, man. You got a championship, okay? Championship.
But it's a legit.
Hard to win, whether they're in a bubble, out of bubble, wherever. Winning a championship is winning a championship. And he had that ring around his neck, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
With his bald head. I don't know who he's talking about. He got a real ring. Okay, give that ring back. Get out of here. It came along with that ring.
He's probably already sold it. Coop, wait a minute now, though. The ring culture thing. Now, you can't tell me LeBron's not chasing rings his entire career. And now he's all of a sudden, because he's getting close to retirement, on a Lakers team destined to not win a title for a couple years, he can't catch Kobe and Michael. So now all of a sudden he and Steve Nash are talking about how the NBA is obsessed with ring culture and it's wrong. Isn't the point of the game? I mean, you can't deny the fact that this is a ridiculous statement. Take away your Michael Cooper with 5 titles. Like, come on, dude. You can't tell me he's not really making himself look silly.
I'm not a big fan of players. Well, listen, if you want to win a championship, you'll do whatever it takes to win a championship. I understand why someone moves around to win a championship, and I think that's what Kevin Durant is doing now. You go to Phoenix because you think something had there. Now that's not working. I'm going to Houston. And LeBron moved around because you know what? When you win that championship, there's other things that are important that comes with it. It's not just being called a champion. You understand how to win the championship. You understand the dynamics of winning a championship. You understand the locker room. You understand the culture. So sometimes players have to chase after it to find it and get it because they want one. But once you get it, you understand how to win it. And that's why he was able to help the Lakers in the bubble win it. You can talk to management about player personnel moves. You talk to the players that you got there. You talk to them about practice. Hey, we champions practice this way. We go to the bus. We go on the bus this way. We act this way. There's certain things that go along with the ultimate prize of having the ring put on your finger and people calling you a champion. There's a lot of things underneath that goes with winning a championship. So sometimes if you have to chase that to get it, and I'm going to tell you who chased it to get it, was Isaiah Thomas. In the 80s, Isaiah used to follow us around when we were winning championships. I look up and he'd be Magic or Friend. But Isaiah Thomas was trying to figure out how to win a championship, what it looked like.
For his team, Coop. For his team.
Right. So,
not to go join you guys or Dr.
Sometimes
J.
you have to do that. Sometimes you have
Who did that in your era? Who did that in your era? I don't remember anybody. Maybe Charles Barkley because the Sixers didn't want him anymore. I mean, And he didn't win a title. Who did
Well,
it?
you're talking about two different eras now, because back then I think
Agency was there.
Loyalty was very important, and I agree with that. We're in a new era of basketball now, where people kind of look at. I mean, look at these high school kids. They go to high school, don't like it. Oh, I see it better over there. I leave. There are high school kids. You got 4 years in high school. There are kids 5, 6 years out of high school, still in high school as a senior, because they're trying to get that ultimate prize of being able to get the commit to go to a UCLA, a Duke, instead of just going to school and then taking your steps that way. So, you know what? Ring chasing, it's a good and a bad thing to be. I mean, it's not a bad thing, because if you want to win, you got to move around. You have the ability to move around. And to me, I hate that guy that's moving around for money. That to me it makes me upset. A player with a franchise, and you're here, just go through the whole process with it if they want you. But no, if I leave here, kind of like Finney Smith, because that's what he did. The Lakers offered him something, and okay, Houston gave you $8 to $9 more million better. Okay, that's your decision. If that's how you want to play this game.
Had LeBron taken a pay cut, they probably would have paid him what he deserved.
Or if you want to win a championship, take what they're offering me. Let me stay here, because we went so far this
year.
That
is extremely hypocritical.
I've never played basketball for the money, Nick. I never did.
I know
I've
that.
always played
that's why
for the love of the game.
I know
and
that.
I believe in loyalty. That was me.
I know that.
There was 4 times in my career, especially my first 3 years. My agent, Fred Slaughter, God rest his soul, would tell me, Coop, you can make more. No, man, this is LA. Not because it was home, but it was because the first team that drafted me. I wanted to stay here. I wanted to build something. I saw what was happening. Then it happened in 83, 84, when I had a chance to leave again. No, we had won 2 championships. I believe this team could win more. So for me, I've never played this game for money. And, we have a thread, a Showtime thread, where we kind of make.
I wish I could be a fly on the wall.
Going on now. Michael Thompson sent us a thing, and he goes, you know what, fellas, we were born 60 years too late, or not 60 years?
Too early.
Too early. We should be born now. The way that this money is being thrown around, but you know what? I never, ever, ever
begrudge.
I'm mad about a player getting money now. I'm not mad about the exorbitant amount of money right now. I enjoy what we did in the 80s, because these players in today's game would not get this type of money had we not played the way we did. And that's the one thing that I'm certain in my heart about. If I leave this world today, I know in my heart we did what was best, because you know what? We changed the NBA.
And you made it.
Making it better. And I have a 20-year-old son, and hopefully he gets opportunity to experience that. And if he does, there's money out there, not just in the NBA. There's money overseas. The G League is getting better, is growing and by leaps and bounds. So you know what? We have made basketball more enjoyable. We made it more profitable. We've done that, and I'm okay with that.
You've also set a standard that these players are struggling to live up to when it comes to the fan base, because they're constantly getting harkened back to your era, always, the glory era. So you set a standard that has yet to be broken, regardless of money, ratings, anything. The NBA will always be remembered for the 80s. But back to the ring chasing, take away the ring chasing part, because you focused in on that. His point was rings don't matter when it comes to player greatness. So what he was saying, and he called out Charles Barkley as a point of purpose. He said, Charles Barkley deserves the same GOAT consideration as Bill Russell or Michael Jordan or LeBron James. So he's saying there's way too much of an emphasis on winning in the NBA today. It should be on personal player accolades, I guess. That's the only way I'm going to take it. I can't think you would agree with that.
He has a good point there, but if you look at how people equate success through winning, when you're in the corporate world and you go from just an employee to the CEO, that's like winning a championship. Okay, you become more popular, more valuable, and I think that's how people. LeBron has to look at. That's how people see the game. People see the game on who's won. What have you done for me lately? And yeah, I agree with him. Charles Barkley was a hell of a player. It's so unfortunate that he never won a championship. And
Michael
the
Jordan.
same thing could almost have been said had not Elijah won. If Elijah won had never won a championship, would he be ranked up there with some of the best? No, he wouldn't.
Coop, if Jordan hadn't retired for 2 years, would Olajuwon have won a title?
Probably not.
Probably not. Would Jordan have 8?
So LeBron, I mean, saying that, making that statement, I can see where he's coming from with that. But he got to understand, because he falls into that category too, had he not won a championship. All the things he's done, if you hadn't won a championship, people wouldn't hold you up there. And that's why, you know what, your name is being rated with as one of the GOATs, because people look at winning a championship as being successful on you and your team. And if I had never won a championship, people would never, I mean, I heard of Michael Cooper. I heard of him. Yeah, he was a decent player. But because I'm on it, as well as myself and Derek Fisher and Robert Ory, we would just be a name among thousands. But because our name gets to be pushed up ahead of a lot of other people, because we are a part of championship teams and you're an integral part. So I understand what he's saying, but he has to realize people look at champions differently than just an average player or a player on an NBA team.
To close this topic, I think he does realize it. I think he realizes exactly what you just said, and that's why he's trying to devalue the championship importance, because he's never going to catch Jordan or Kobe, and his obsession is with being the GOAT.
Yeah.
So that's, and I think that's what infuriates the average NBA fan that's not a LeBron fan, is because I think fans see right through that. It's very transparent. Anyway, let's roll around. We're gonna pay the bills here. We got our sponsors coming up. We're gonna come back from the break.
Who's our sponsor? Oh, okay. We got a sponsor coming.
PrizePicks, baby. We got a sponsor, baby.
I got you. I just want to hear you say it and
realize
it.
So we're going to come back after the break. We're going to talk a little bit about Damian Lillard. I got a history story I want to ask Coop about. And then we're going to see if you guys, the listeners, viewers, have any questions in the chat room. If you're listening on YouTube, subscribe, like the video, will you? But don't forget, Coop's podcast is on Spotify, baby, and iTunes. Get all Coop's content there. Subscribe, rate, review. Help us go up in the ratings. There's the NBA History Channel. Dude, you got Cedric Maxwell. You got Bob Ryan. You got Michael Cooper. You got a lot of NBA legends that are coming in and out as guests as well.
Why are they all Celtic people?
Well, only Max is a Coop. Only Max is Coop. I got
and Coop. Bob Ryan
is Boston sports. Come on.
Yeah, okay then.
Bob Ryan's the president of the Michael Cooper fan club. Let's go pay the bills. We'll be right back after this break.
PrizePicks is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less and at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. There's only one series left in the playoffs, and the championship is officially on the line. That means time is running out for you to put your final takes to the test on PrizePicks, the best place to cash in with your favorite sports. And PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts, like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game.
All right, baby, we're back, Coop. Sit up, man. The camera's on. We're live, baby. Coop, Dame Lillard in the news. Lakers rumor, Celtics rumor. I don't want any part of Damian Lillard on the Celtics, so you could take him. Tell me how he affects the Lakers.
No, I don't think well, I'm just saying for me, again, these are just my words. That would be a hard piece because Damian needs the ball. And I don't see where he fits in with the Los Angeles Lakers because you got Luka, you got LeBron. So you have 30%, 40% of the ball going to Luka. Right now, 50% of the ball going to LeBron. And you got Reeves with about 3 or 4%. And you got other people, the other players got to get there's not enough percentages go around for him to shoot the ball. And again, Damian is not a great defender. I mean, he can play, but he's not a great defender. And the most important thing, the guy's coming off a bad injury for a player plus 30. The Achilles and a stomach muscle or something like that. Not necessarily a knee injury, because those are pretty common and people jump back. But that Achilles injury,
at 30 something,
plus 30, that is a tough one to come back. So I think the Lakers, if I was a GM and we got to a certain point, say January, February, March, and we're looking and the playoffs is kind of like, and I would look and see, and I thought he could help us, I would bring him aboard. But you know what? I don't see where he could be helpful coming back off that injury.
So you're pushing him.
He is not moving out of Portland. He's not moving. He's going to do all rehabbing in Portland. All of that.
Milwaukee.
No, he said Portland.
No, he's in Milwaukee now.
I know, but he's going back to Portland to do his rehabbing.
Oh, I'm following you. Okay,
so all of that, the rehab is going to be done in Portland with his kids, and so that the contact would have to be to him through there. So I'm just like, okay, well, I want you in March. If I'm gonna get you, I want to see you down here a little bit. He's not coming down till he's ready to play. So
that sounds about right. You're pushing him back on the Celtics, so I'm going to give you the reasons I don't want him.
Okay.
Everything you said, plus the games he played in his last free agency when he was trying to strong arm Pat Riley, demanding where he goes, and I love Celtics fans because they pay our bills just like NBA Lakers fans do. But Celtics fans are so fucking delusional, man. Like, they hear Dame and Dame time, and there's gifts everywhere on Brad will make it happen. Brad we trust. Brad we believe in, right? All this shit. They don't remember that during his tour, when he was trying to get traded last time to Miami, he specifically called out Boston as the one place he would refuse to go and demand a trade. No one remembers that. No one's talking about it. And even if he's changed his mind, Coop, I don't want a guy like that on my team. He didn't want to be in Boston, so don't come to Boston. And furthermore, you mentioned about his injury. What are we going to have two guys sitting on the sidelines rehabbing an Achilles together? Oh, no, one's going to be in Portland all year while the other one's already busting his ass in Brighton in our practice facility for a month rehabbing his in Boston. So you're going to bring in a guy who doesn't like Boston, won't rehab in Boston, doesn't want to come to Boston, demands where he wants to go, big-time Pat Riley, which says a lot to me when he's trying to push him around 2 years ago. He was, Coop, trying to get himself down in Miami, and you mark my words, he doesn't care about championships. He doesn't. He cares about himself. He's going to end up in Miami. If Pat Riley will deal with him, that's where he's going to end up, and that's where he should go. He left he did not much of anything in Portland. Went to Milwaukee and sucked up the joint. I mean, Milwaukee got worse. How does that happen? You add a superstar and you get worse, right? And Damian Lillard, it ain't been Dame time since 2019, folks. Let's be honest here. So you keep him in LA or let him stay with Doc in Milwaukee. I don't want him anywhere near Boston. And I hope everybody beats the fuck out of me on Twitter for saying this.
Wow. Okay. No, you know what? I think he's gonna. And the great thing for Dame is that Milwaukee did waive him, and they're allowing him to go.
I wouldn't have.
And that's great for him because now I can rehab, concentrate on getting as healthy as I can, and look and see. And you know what? I will be watching all teams. I don't think, because again, if he's not about championships, he's not going to end up in Miami. If he's not about championships, because Miami's about winning a championship. They lost that kid Duncan Robinson, so they're going to be looking to replace somebody. So if he can, and he's going to have to, if they're considering him, he's going to have to go somewhere and do a workout for some people, after the first of the year. So, I'm just wishing him luck. But the most important thing is I'm wishing him good health.
Yeah.
You know what? His career's almost over, and you don't want anybody leaving this game with a limp or any kind of ill effects that they've had as a player. And that Achilles heel, and that was the one thing I really respect about Norm. You go through it, Norm doesn't walk like he has a problem now, and that's the one thing you want to do.
Did Norm tear his Achilles?
Norm tore his Achilles too.
What year?
Plus 30. And Norm played one more year after that, and that was it. And was never, what Norm's thing was all about quickness. What is Damian Lillard's best asset? His quickness. And that's going to be diminished a little bit. And, in today's game now, with so much money that you have to really go out and find the best people to work on you, or first of all, do the surgery and do it right. Second of all, to come back and get your rehab going, and then the trainers will come on and work you back into condition. That's going to be a big thing for him. So, I'm just wishing that Dame gets back to where he can fully mobilize and walk without any limps or ill effects from that, because there's life after basketball. You want to be able to do things with your kids and move around and without any pain. So let's we
absolutely
at first, but as a basketball player, he'll be looking, and if he wants to play, and again, this is another soul searching thing for him too. How old is Dame? 35, 36?
Yeah, I would say 34, 35.
35.
He needs a championship.
Well, you know what? I think championship days are over as far as him trying to really be a integral part, because it's going to depend on how he comes back on his rehab. So again, wishing him the best, and he'll have his book open of who's going to be there and who has a better opportunity, and I think he'll go that route.
Well, I wish him the best too. I mean, I never want to see anybody unhealthy. It may sound like I hated him, but I just don't want him near Boston right now. And frankly, I don't think he helps LA either. LA's got to continue to get better and younger, right? I mean, they can't get older.
Ain't enough shots in LA for him there.
Ain't enough shot. That's another thing. There aren't enough shots to go around.
Yeah.
Coop, I'm thinking about, some of the uncertainty in LA, maybe more so the dismantling of the Celtics. And I want to talk to you about, I know you retired in 89, 90, but you had to be around for some of that when they were kind of rebooting or retooling to try to replace Kareem and you. They brought in Vlade, who we're going to get as a guest soon. Tell me what that was like. Was there a sense that the Lakers' Showtime was over now that Kareem was retiring, or did they feel they could, which they did at least, reach the finals one more time after he was gone?
Well, we knew it was coming to an end. And I think with Vlade, that was the one thing that Jerry West really was concentrating on, that Vlade could come in. Now, Vlade was a different center. Vlade, got to remember, was the first center that shot threes that came over here from
and passed really well.
So you could see the tide of changing on what they thought a big man was supposed to be about. Kareem was the last of the back to the basket centers. And again, when we brought Vlade in, they tried to get Vlade down there to work, and Vlade did a couple of things, but he was no back to the basket center, face-up center. So you saw the changing come, and I think that's what it was about. And I mean, you just had to deal with it. And at that time, Vlade was a unique individual coming in. He was a 7-footer that had the skills of a true small forward. Put it on the floor. Nice little jump shot. So we knew,
and spoke zero English, Coop, right?
We
spoke
weren't going to get
English.
Another Kareem-like-ish player, because those players were gone now.
And Vlade spoke zero English when he got to LA, right?
He speaks a little bit.
Now he speaks really well,
but no, it was very, very little.
See, he told me he spoke zero. That's what he told me. Not a stitch of English. He only knew yes and no.
He shit out of me, because I'd ask him a question and he'd always go, "Yeah, Coop." So maybe he didn't, but he put on a great disguise then, because he was always talking to all of us. Byron, AC Green, So
he's kind of under discussed, because the fact that the Lakers were able to transcend the Kareem era and get back to the finals is a tribute to him. It's really a tribute to Magic, man. I still remember in 91 being like, how the fuck are these guys back in the finals? And the Celtics still have their whole roster and can't get past the second round. Well, it was injuries.
Look at, they had Magic, they had Worthy. You had AC Green.
AC.
Very, very well. They had went out and got who they bring in for
who?
For me. Terry Teagle.
Yeah, Terry. Yeah, he was not you though. Terry Teagle. But
he was a better scorer.
And they brought in Eldon Campbell, I think.
Elden Campbell. Yeah, so you had a new influx of players. Nick Van Exel, I think,
Nick
was on that
Well,
team.
then that he kind of transcended to the bad years then, didn't it? I mean, in the 90s when it got rough.
That was that's why they got there. And you know what? I don't care what people say. I don't care how old you are. Experience counts. And when you got Magic, Worthy, AC Green, Vlade was there. Vlade developed a little experience. You had enough that could get you there, but they ran up against they caught a tiger by the tail, that Chicago team, and they had to let that thing go because that thing was running wild, and Mike came into his own, and then you had a new reemergence of a very talented, long-running team in the Chicago Bulls.
Coop, how hard was that to watch that finals? I guess you were probably in Italy at that time, right?
I got back on the last 2 games. I got back, and I went to the Laker game at the Forum. And I remember Magic coming up to me, man, Coop, I wish we still had you. I said,
yeah, we could use you.
It would have been.
Did you?
But you know what? Whether I was there or not, I think the Chicago Bulls were set to take the throne. And
could you have been effective?
Pardon me?
You could have still been effective.
Possibly, but you had Mike on a tear, man, and then they had all the other pieces to go with it, man. And Mike was not going to be denied, and I'm glad I didn't catch any of that
business
stuff. So I that's my saving grace I have. I said, you know what, Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan didn't win a championship until I left the league, so I'm gonna stick with that. I'm glad I was there.
Coop, we're gonna wrap now, but before we do, I had. What the hell was my last question for you? I had one more question for you about it mustn't have been. Oh, I know what. How do you feel about Jordan coming back to the NBA with the NBA on NBC?
I love it. I think Michael's another part. I think you're gonna get to hear his ideas and his intake on the league and how it's changed. And I think anytime a player of his magnitude can get involved, I would love Larry Bird to come back and listen to him. You know, Larry.
I would too.
So any of the great ones, you know, I in the big 3, I'm out there with George Gervin, Dr. J, and we get to talk. And it's funny how we talk about the league then and now. And it's always exciting, and you always get some young guy because we're down in the lobby in an area right there or at the bar somewhere, and we're just talking. And to hear intakes on people. And George Gervin loves the game, but he also hates the game, the way they play. But you know what? It's the NBA. It's going to change. So bringing Michael Jordan back in, I can't wait to hear what he got to say because you'll get a true insight.
Oh, he won't hold back. Coop, but how's Dr. J? He seems very jaded.
Doc lives his life. He goes on.
But I mean about today's game.
Yeah, no, he comes and he talks about the players. You go, Coop, it's not like it used to be. So Doc is funny in a sense, but I love him to death because he's always giving me some type of knowledge or something I didn't know. And, he keeps telling me one day, Coop, you got to have patience with him, because I'm after Michael Beasley and Lance. And I'm like, I wish if I had hair, I'd be pulling it out. But he would look at us because when we go to practice, 2 teams will practice. And sometimes you always practice with a team you're not playing. So sometimes we get a practice with Doc, and he just goes, Coop, and his hands, Doc got big hands.
Very.
Coop, you got to have patience with him. So it's going to be. So I'm telling the fans, have patience with Michael Jordan, but he's going to put some knowledge in the game that you didn't know. So it's going to be fun.
Coop, that's it. Next week, I think we won't be here because I won't be here. But the following week, we'll be back and we'll be live. Hey,
and I'm promising the guests that following week, I'm going to have a magnificent. No, Nick, I'm going to have a guest speaker that we're going to have a guest coming today.
I love it. That means I could take the week off, right? I could just kind of hang out and do the chat room.
Whatever.
No, you don't ever.
You're going to want to partake of this conversation.
Oh, okay. All right. No, I'll be in that one then.
Everybody good.
Yeah, we had a lot of people show up today and live at 9:50 out in LA, out in the West Coast, 12:50 here, midday on the East Coast. We appreciate everybody who tuned in. In 2 weeks, we will definitely get to fan questions, and hopefully Coop will come through on his promise and have a guest.
Hopefully nothing. What are you talking about, Nick? Hopefully I'm going to have a guest speaker that's going actually that may hold you speechless.
I will hold you to that. And on that note, Coop, we're out of here, baby.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy it.